Now I'm wondering if anybody out there can tell me why Facepunch feels that we do not deserve access to have the Sentry turret mounted to our base. And even further to that, why can't we use the rockets as well as the pew pew slot? Well, that all changes today. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rust Admin Academy, where I'm teaching you everything that you need to know about owning and operating a successful Rust server. If you take any value out of this video, make sure you hit that like button for me, and of course if you want to see future videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to take it one step further, you can hit me up at Patreon at patreon.srtbull.com. Before we get too deep into the details of this plugin, some of you out there might actually recognize that this concept was, or maybe still is, available from another plugin provider. And if you don't know, there's a little bit of drama going on with that site right now, and things are kind of up in the air on how things are going to work out. So what Razer is doing is taking a plugin that kind of gets mixed up in this little disaster of a problem that's coming up right now, and he rebuilds it from the ground up and is now providing it to the community in a way that's going to be a lot safer for the end user and a whole lot more reliable. For those of you that know what's going on, and I don't really want to get into the details of it on this channel because it's really none of my business, but what is my business is showing you something new and cool that is coming out. So to that end, let me introduce you to Better Sentry Turrets, written by Razer, and it's hosted at MyVector.xyz. I'll put a link to it in the video description down below. At full retail, this plugin does cost $14.99 USD, but of course, me being who I am, I have you a promo code, so it's going to be in the video description down below as well as the pinned comment. Now, for those of you that got wrapped up in the drama that is kind of unfolding, Razer is also giving you an additional promo code or a deeper discount code, and all you have to do is prove that you purchased this plugin from a previous website. All right, so first things first, obviously, as you can see on my screen right now, I'm using this plugin on a Carbon server, but it has been tested extensively on Oxide as well. In fact, it was built for Oxide, and I had to get Razer to make a couple of changes to it so that it actually worked properly on Carbon. So because I can actually show you the configuration for the plugin directly within the game using the Carbon panel. Obviously, if you're still using Oxide, which is perfectly okay, you would just access the configuration file like you normally would through your file manager. So there's not a whole lot of options here, but they are really powerful options. So it's important that you understand how they all work. The necessity to require a gun. So if you leave this option off or false, the plugin is going to supply a gun. In this case, it's going to be an M249, and then you would have to just add the ammo to it. If you turn this feature on, then of course you can supply your own weapon, aka pistol, doesn't really matter, and then just make sure you use the appropriate ammunition for whatever type of weapon you put in there. The scan distance is obviously how far away from the actual turret is it going to target an enemy. By default, this is set to 50. A second ago, you've seen that it was set to 200. That was just for testing purposes. So 50 is a pretty good range. Of course, you can go higher or you can go lower. Totally depends on what works best for your server. Turret start health by default, I believe, is 1500 or 2500, something like that. I've increased mine to 5000 because in a minute, I'm going to call in a heli and show you what this thing can actually do. That, of course, brings me to the next option, which is allowed to be a SAM site. So are we going to allow the player to put SAM ammo in this turret as well so that it can fire at helis? And then of course below that is you get to determine whether you actually wanted to attack the patrol heli if it comes within that range. And of course, because I'm using the Carbon panel, I can just click on this button right here, save and reload. If you're just using Oxide, of course, you would save your file and manually reload the plugin. Of course, there are permissions associated with this plugin as well. So let's just jump into the permissions section here real quick. And again, because I'm on Carbon, I can do this directly from the panel inside the game. So there's only one associated permission for Better Sentry turrets, and that is the admin permission. Whoever has this permission will have the ability to spawn this item directly into their inventory, as you're going to see here in a second. So as long as you have the admin permission granted to you or whoever you need to be able to use this plugin, you do /sentry and then a number. Whatever that number is how many sentries are going to end up in your inventory. So I just did /sentry4, which obviously gave me 4 sentries. Can you see that? Yep, right over my shoulder there. And then they place just like they would as if they were any other turret. You can see there's a switch down here. This is where you're going to need to run power to. This is obviously a switch too, so you can turn it on and off directly from this switch, provided that it has power. I'll just show you what I mean. Once it has power, of course, it's off right now. We can authorize on it. We can turn the switch on, and then the turret comes to life. Works just like any other turret would. It has to be powered off in order for you to get into the inventory. This little icon right here is supposed to be an M249. And then all I would have to do is add ammo, and this sentry is good to go. So I've already got 6 of them placed on the top of my base right here. And I'll just turn this off and I'll show you what it looks like in the inventory. So we've got a bunch of rifle ammo in here as well as a bunch of SAM ammo. So once an attack heli actually comes into the range of these turrets, which by default is 50, I'm going to change this back to 200 so that it shoots them from further away. It's going to act exactly like a SAM site. So while we're waiting for the attack heli to show up, there's a couple of things you need to know. So obviously this is going to work the same way as it does with SAM sites when it comes to any of the player usable helicopters, whether that's the Mini or the Scrap Heli or the other one that I can't think of the name, or hot air balloons. What is it? The Scrap Mini? No. All right, so we've got the heli en route. He's about 2,000 away from me right now. So as soon as he comes within range of my Sentry turrets, they will start attacking. I'm going to put my rifle away so it doesn't look like I'm attacking the heli. And I'm going to just let the Sentry turrets do all of the work for me. So here comes our attack, and there goes my Sentry turrets, and they are wrecking this heli. Now, for some reason, the heli took damage on the way over to me. It started out at 10K, and by the time it got to me, it was only at 2K, but it had nothing to do with my Sentry turrets. I'm thinking something else was messing with it along the way. So as you can see, the Sentries work exactly like you would expect them to. On the one side, we've got the M249, because that's the way we set it up in our configuration file. And on the other side, we've got our rockets that can be loaded with SAM ammo, and they act exactly like a SAM site. All in combination, all in one unit, exactly the way that I think these Sentry turrets should be able to be used. I don't know why we can't get these Sentry turrets by default. I think they should be available. So now we have to consider, how are we going to get these into our players' hands, of course, if we want our players to have access to them. Well, there's a couple of different ways. Obviously, as admins, we can spawn in a bunch of them and we can put them in vending machines or whatever. Or if you use the custom vending plugin from White Thunder on umod.org, you can easily add these to the vending machines that are currently at the outpost right now. Of course, you can also add these to your loot table if the loot controller that you're using on your server allows for you to put in an item as well as a skin ID for that item. This is the skin ID for this Sentry turret. It's just an auto turret with a specific skin put over top. I'll put a link to the skin ID in the video description down below. So that pretty much sums up Better Sentry Turrets by Razer. Again, it's available from MyVector.xyz. I have a promo code for people that have never purchased this plugin before. And of course, if you are one of those people that are falling victim to all that little drama situation that's going on, reach out to Razer directly, whether that's on his Discord or directly through the website, and he's going to hook you up. You're going to have to prove that you purchased it previously from that other website, but if you can, and if you do, he's going to take care of you. If you do happen to want to learn how to set up custom vending machines at your outpost, make sure you check out this video right here. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.